Hey, how you guys doing? This is KLA, Cloud the Wanderer, and right here with me is Kathy Staudt, Staudt, right? If I'm pronouncing your name
Doubt,
right, forgive
doubt,
Stout,
doubt. Yeah,
Stout. Okay, Stout.
yeah.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. Really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak with you. And yeah, where you from?
Houston, Texas.
Oh, Houston, Texas. I'm in New York City. So yeah, yeah. So I seen you on Instagram, and I was curious. I reached out to you, and you told me you competed for like 10 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
I-
started after I was 50. So originally I wanted to compete sooner, but life got in the way. So here I
oh,
am.
okay. Right. Yeah,
So,
yeah. I know that you like before bodybuilding, you had well, you started I think in the 80s, right? If I'm not
yeah.
mistaken.
So I got interested in bodybuilding actually in 1980. So I was 17 years old, and I saw a cover of a magazine with Corey Everson on it.
No.
So she was, you know, Miss Olympia, I don't know, like 6 or 7 times. So, like the first Miss Olympia. So,
Yeah.
back in the 80s in Houston, there wasn't a whole, I mean, I didn't know anything about bodybuilding. So, I kind of introduced myself to a bro gym and talked them into letting me have, it was an all men's gym, talked them into
Mm.
letting me start training there. But then as I was starting to train and learning how to bodybuild, um, I ended up, my dad told me, you can either bodybuild, and I was planning like to move to the West Coast to the West Coast mecca of bodybuilding because everybody was saying that's the place to be. But I ended up going to college and kind of had to put everything aside for that. So, um, all these years later, so college, career, kids, businesses. And so at 50, I found myself, you know what? I'm going to go back and pursue the dreams that I started um, 30 years ago. So at 63, I'm getting ready to, well, actually in November, it'll be my 11th show. So yeah.
And this is like what a national qualifier or
So actually, it is a pro-am, but I am, um, I'm not a professional. I haven't earned my pro card yet. I've competed in um, three different federations. I started out in NPC when I first started, so I did several IFBB shows, and then at the time, the way that I didn't feel like I could be competitive at the bikini level because I just didn't have every year the muscularity increased, and I was over 50. It's really hard to build that much muscle.
mm,
And so I just didn't have the body type to really compete at that level. And I thought, well, let me go into a division and into a federation that doesn't look as much as muscular. Um, and so I went into WBFF. So I competed in WBFF. That the WBFF broke apart a few years ago and started into FMG. Still a little bit different. The posing is different, but as everything else does, the muscularity has increased. So I've never been able to put on as much muscle. I think my last show, I finally got to the muscularity that I needed to be competitive. I came in fourth, which I was really proud of. So, and the WB or the FMG shows, their oldest division, their oldest groups are 45 plus. So when I go up as a 63-year-old, I'm competing against 45-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 55-year-olds. I think the woman that won first place was early 50s. So so I'm easily 10 years older than everybody I'm up against. So when I come in fourth, the three people in front of me are all in their early 50s. So I'm okay with that. I feel like I'm competitive. November, they're going to do, the show I'm going to is FMG Mexico. So it's going to be in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. They actually opened up a 50 plus division. So I'm excited about that. Maybe I'll have somebody closer to my age. I actually did that show a year ago. And when they only had 45 plus, they had over 20 women in that division, in that category, doing bikini. So, and more than half of them were in their 60s. So, and it was such a crowded category that all of us barely fit on stage. They had to bunch us all together. So I'm looking forward to this one. I feel like maybe this one I can place a little bit better. Of course, every time you go into a show, you hope you're going to have a better package than the last time. Maybe you can win your pro card. So I'm going to keep working, putting on the muscle that I need to, doing what I need to be competitive. So yeah.
Congratulations for getting to this level. I mean, I know you're not entirely there, but it's an accomplishment that what you're doing.
I think so. I mean, if I look at the people I went to school with, whether college or high school, or the kind of my peer group, people I know my age, I don't really have anybody that's doing what I'm doing. So, it's what I love. It's what I've always loved. I just wish I wasn't so late to the party, but life gets in the way. You do what you do. So,
yeah, it kind of reminds me of school a little bit, like you got left back, or you got some setbacks, and then you got to keep up with the other students, the younger students and stuff like that. I don't know, that's just me.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. But
and it keeps me young, so.
I mean, it's a lot of people, especially a lot of women that do bikini. It'd be like 20, and then it'd have like the class, the A, B, C, D class, and what class you was in your last show? Did they have a class, or they
no?
Didn't?
So the FMG doesn't really have a class, so they just have age groups. So they do bikini fitness, which is a little more muscularity. They do figure, they do physique, and then they just break that up into, they have an open class, which is under 35, then they have 35 plus, and then 45 plus. So they have smaller, they don't break it up into like A or B or like height. I think NPC, IFBB shows are broken up by height. So they don't do that. There's usually smaller shows. But I'm also considering going back to NPC because I think now I can be more competitive. I've been talking to a coach and I was like, well, they came out with Fit Model. Maybe I'm more Fit Model. And she told me, nope, you're too muscular for Fit Model. Now you're more suited to bikini. So I'm looking at maybe adding an NPC show in 27.
Yeah. Well, I want to show the viewers your work. And you have a nice physique. Somebody, yeah. You ever thought about? I mean, maybe you could do figure. I don't know if.
Yeah, I'm kind of right on the borderline. So.
Yeah.
That was my last check-in in the morning before prejudging. So.
Yeah. What was it like preparing for your first show?
So my first show, you know, so I had always been into fitness, and I kind of, my husband was an Olympic runner. So when we got married, I started running. And so that's what we did mostly for fitness. I always lifted weights, but it kind of shifted to running until I hit 40. I broke my leg. So that meant I wasn't going to be running long distances anymore. So it took me about 18 months to recover from that, 6 months in crutches, another year after that, no impact on that leg. And then at 40, I kind of had a whirlwind of medical problems, not only recovering from the broken leg, I went into perimenopause. For some reason, my what I didn't know was hypothyroidism runs in my family, and so it got me. And so my thyroid changed, and so I gained 100 pounds from 40 to 49. I gained 100 pounds. And I woke up and I was like, I'm going to lose this weight and I'm going to compete in a bodybuilding show by the time I'm 50. So I gave myself a year to lose 100 pounds and get into shape. And so I did. So I was very, very focused. I was just like, I'm getting my life back. So that was hard. And remember, this was like 13 years ago. So it was 2014, pre-Ozempic and all that kind of stuff. So I had none of the good stuff, none of the good drugs to help me lose 100 pounds. It was just pure deficit, pure working out, staying on course, consistency to consistency. So I kind of surprised myself that I actually did it, because looking at myself, and I was like 230 pounds. I had never weighed that much, even being pregnant, and my last baby was 11 pounds. I was just like, I don't know if I'll ever get this body back. I did it. So, and when I think back on it now, I was like, it was just about consistency and believing in yourself, total shift in mind, in your mindset, and knowing that your body can do anything your mind can convince you of. And so every time I prepare for a show, that's what I remember. And I'm amazed at what your body can do, how you can shape it, how your body can perform, and the results you can get through every time I go into a prep, every time I go into a cut, I'm amazed at how I look at the end, because there's always a difference. I always see the muscle that I gain. I always see the changes in my body through intentionally working out and designing. I work with the coach. They design my workouts. We always have, a goal in mind, get my legs slimmer, increase the glutes, come in fuller, have nice shoulder caps. There's always something. And I'm always amazed what you can do just through proper nutrition, targeted workouts, adding more weights. So it's, and I don't, when I was looking back at myself at 49, it was like, I don't know that I can do this, but it's not going to be for the lack of trying. And so I did it, and I just keep doing more and more every time. I just keep following the plan every time and get really focused on the end result. I don't think as much about the process, because I'm just like, this is how I live. I live this lifestyle that I have a goal in mind and I work towards that goal. And that's kind of how I am in life too. I run a couple of businesses. I've had an engineering firm for 30 years. My husband and I did that. And so, I'm very focused on, I get a goal and I do whatever it takes to reach the goal. So.
Yeah. It sounds like you walked hell and back
Yeah.
If I could say that, yeah. It's a long road. Like, there's people that's not able to do what you did. Like to just lose weight. There's people that struggle. Of course, there's people like you that persevere, and there was another person not too long ago that I was speaking to, and they was incredibly huge, and then they was determined to like lose the weight and compete in a bodybuilding show, and they as a matter of fact, they was in Bikini also. So yeah.
I'm like, looking at so right now I'm kind of on, I'm looking to, after this next show, I'm looking at maybe even looking into going into figure, because now my body's changed again. And so my body may fit better into figure as opposed to bikini. Kind of see how I can sculpt my workouts, whether, my body's going to change. And because what I thought I was 13, 15, 20 years ago, I'm realizing my body it really comes out to be, I have a hard time putting on weight on my glutes. So I have a more athletic frame than I thought I did. I thought I was very hourglass curvy. And when I get very, very lean, I tend to slim down a little too much. We're still trying to figure that out. Every prep's different. Every build, I'm like on a short little build right now. So I'm eating a lot more food, trying to put on some muscle before I go into my next 12-week cut before the show. So it's, it's difficult. One, it's, some women have a better, they have a better ability to put on muscle, age, and just my body type. I'm a pretty small person overall. It just makes it a little more difficult, but I'm just going to keep working till, I can't work anymore. I have a friend that she's in her 70s and she's still competing. So that's my goal is, somebody asked me, how long are you going to keep doing this? I'm like, well, maybe one day I'll be using a walker to get up on stage, but I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's not easy for somebody that's doing natural bodybuilding to put on weight. Other people, they got to do enhances and stuff. And
yeah, I'm a little too old, I figure, to do enhancement. I do use some peptides. I had, I have dabbled in the peptide world, doing some growth hormone secretagogues, just, tesamorelin, things like that. And that's helped. I started using it to just do more like recovery, and repair, and some anti-aging and some skin stuff. But essentially I'm natural. Peptides, they don't consider, while they're an enhancement, they don't do the work for you, just like anabolics. If you just did anabolics and didn't put in the work, you wouldn't get the results. But
yeah, I hear that a lot. I hear that. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter if you like enhance or not. You gotta put in the work and stuff. You can take a lot of enhances and your body can look like crap and stuff. So
Yep.
Like, what's your advice for somebody that want to start competing?
So I think the most important thing is to find a coach that's a competitive coach. And it's really, you have to find somebody that knows how to take you through every step of the way. So somebody that's put competitors on a stage, and that's not a trainer, so that they can guide you, and really take an assessment of how much muscularity you have and how to take you through the workout, so that when you get on stage, you have the best physique that you can have at that point. And I mean, it's changed a lot. So I remember my very first show. They, they were restricting water. I was taking diuretics, all that kind of stuff. I don't do any of that stuff right now. I haven't done it for years. So it's a very different, I think it's healthier now than it was before, but then I still see some competitors that are taking heavy duty diuretics, that are restricting water. So my diet doesn't change a whole lot. Usually, I go into my cut. I usually hit my stage weight far earlier than anticipated. So then I'm adding food back in so I don't look scrawny. And so I'm very healthy. I feel very good. I'm not going through any type of water cutting, dehydration. So, I'm eating carbs right up. I'm carbing up. So having that knowledge.
I think she can. Yeah, give us some time. I probably could play. Hold on. I wish I had more pictures to show, but that's all she gave me. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, did I lose you?
I see you.
Okay.
Can you still hear my voice, or
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You was blacking out. Are you was on the phone? Oh, no, I don't think she was on the phone. Come back in and out if you can hear me. Okay, good. Hold on. Come back out if you can hear me. Yeah. Let me see. I don't know. Yeah. Let me kick her out and then so she can come back out. Yeah, folks, I'm sorry. We gotta go through all this stuff. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Yeah, you were saying you in your competition, like when you first started, you was doing diuretics. Did that affect you during your stay in natural bodybuilding?
You know, it just, when you're on diuretics, when you go through that water depletion and you're just taking diuretics, then you kind of feel like crap. I mean, you're thirsty the whole day. You're doing prejudging in the morning. You're trying to maintain how you look throughout the day for finals. And it's hard, So I wouldn't say your body's in peak condition. You may look good, but you're not feeling that great. You're tired, you're thirsty, you're hungry. And I don't go into my shows that way anymore. Every show I go into now, I feel good, I'm hydrated. I'm always hungry at that point, but I'm not like starving. Like, my first few shows I did in NPC, literally, I felt like, I don't know if I'm going to make it across stage. So.
You felt like you was going to fall out?
I feel like I have a much healthier approach. My body's in its peak condition, both physically how it looks and physically how I feel. So I feel like it's a more holistic approach to it. And so I just think it's better for me, especially at my age. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like, I know that when I competed in NPC in the early days, it would take me a long time to recover from those shows. I was so depleted, I felt like I didn't have any strength. It took me a couple of weeks to get back in, anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to get back into my normal routine. Now, if I compete on a Saturday, by Monday, I'm itching to get back in the gym. I usually take a full week off, no cardio, no nothing. And then I just rest. I kind of eat whatever I want. And then after a week, I'm right back to it, going after my next goal, whatever that is. So I think I just have a better approach. I have a better coach. I'm just much healthier. And for me, it's about health. I mean, once you're a senior citizen, I just don't think you can stress your body too much. Recovery is different for me than it would be for a 20 or a 30-year-old. So. But
you're not a senior citizen yet, right? You like,
yeah,
I'm 65.
I'm 63. I mean,
well,
it depends.
Yeah, we got 2 more years.
Hey, if a restaurant wants to give me a senior citizen's discount, I'm all for that. So.
I mean, you don't look too bad, in your age. I mean, look like, I would say like you're in your mid-50s, if that's good enough.
I appreciate that. That's very nice for you.
Yeah.
Until you do a close-up and see the wrinkles. Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, it's not a big deal. I notice, like people like in their 30s, especially women, before, like years ago, they wouldn't want to tell their age. Like if it was like a big deal, but it's not a big deal. Like, especially when you get older, there's women that proudly tell their age, like in their 70s, 80s and stuff like that.
I was always fine to tell my age. So, and, I've lived a lot of life. I've had, I have 4 kids. I have 6 grandkids. So, I'm good with that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. You told me early back then, you Corey Everson was like your inspiration.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. Go ahead.
No, it's funny because when I first discovered female bodybuilding, bodybuilding in general, but I've seen her. She was like, I had an interest like in 1992, and she was in the cover of Flex, and I think she did Muscle and Fitness.
Muscle and Fitness. You know, a lot of bodybuilding magazines. I can't remember. I don't have the magazine anymore. I don't know what happened to it. But I remember I picked up the bodybuilding magazine that she was on. It was 1980. I was 17 years old. And I wasn't a member of a gym. You know, I was an athlete in high school. And so I knew there was a gym kind of close to my neighborhood. But somebody said, well, that's a guy's gym. And I'm like, well, where do girls go to work out? Remember, this is 1980. Very different. And so I walked into the gym and I just told the guys at the front desk, and these were just, you know, total gym bros, right? And I said, I want to work out. And they were like, we don't take chicks.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, look, I'm trying to get into bodybuilding. This is the only gym I know. And they told me, oh, go do jazzercise. Remember jazzercise?
I think so.
Yeah. And I'm like, nope, I want to do bodybuilding. And they were like, we don't take chicks. And so I'm like, okay, who owns this place? And so they brought the owner out. He was a big old bodybuilder. And I told him what I wanted. I showed him the cover of the magazine. I said, look, she even put a workout in here. I'm going to do this workout. And so he said, okay, here's the deal. You can't use the locker room. We don't have girls' bathrooms. You can't use the bathroom. He said, but you can use my bathroom because I got a private bathroom. You just let me know. I said, I don't want to hear you complain. If the guys like, you know, cuss too much, or if they say crude jokes, I don't want any complaints from you. And I'm like, look, I have 3 older brothers. These guys don't bother me. I'm used to this stuff. You'll never hear a peep out of me. Just give me a gym membership. And he gave it to me for free. And he's like, I don't think you're going to last, so I'm not going to make you pay. You just come in, you do your workouts, you mind your business. I'll tell all the guys to mind their business. I was like, deal. So I worked out there. You know, I graduated high school. That was about 18 months later, like I graduated. That was the summer of 1980. I graduated from high school the following year. And then, you know, August of 1981, September of 1981, then I went off to college because my dad said I had to go to college because I had a scholarship. He's like, you're not going to LA. You're not going to be a bodybuilder. You got to go to college. You have to have a real job because I'm not supporting you. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to college. Funny, in college, I actually continued to work out. And so, you know, but I never went back to that gym. And eventually, you know, it closed down, and I always wanted to tell that guy, thanks for letting me do that. You know, I mean, for almost 2 years, I worked out for free, and I never gave him a problem. I never complained. You know, I was with a bunch of sweaty, stinky guys. The gym, it was in Houston, Texas, and it had no air conditioning. It was like a garage gym. It was truly a bodybuilding gym. And so, you know, but that's where my love came from. And I learned a lot. I had a lot of those guys, you know, help me on my form and everything that I was doing. And I learned a lot. One of the things nobody could really help me with was nutrition. I tried to eat like the guys, but, you know, back in the day, they were eating chicken and rice, some broccoli.
Yeah, that's the bodybuild, the gourmet.
Yeah.
Chicken and rice every day.
Yep. Chicken and rice. You know. Yeah. And so it was interesting. You know, had I had to do it all over again, I don't know that I'd go to college. I think I'd just save up a bunch of money, go to, you know, the West Coast like I wanted to, and start my career then. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. If I would have done that, I probably wouldn't have 4 kids and 6 grandkids, right?
You're right. How do you look at it now? Like, the people can go, men and women can go to the gym. I heard, I heard that they have like a women's only gym. That's really interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't been to a women's only gym. You know, I belong to a couple of gyms, just because it fits my lifestyle. I travel for my business, so I'm always traveling. So I decided to join Planet Fitness because there's a Planet Fitness like in every city. And so I always have one. And then I belong to a very small gym. And they know I'm a competitive bodybuilder. The owner of the gym there says, when the youngsters come in and they're like hogging equipment, I always have to kick them off. And the owner's always like, look, she's my bodybuilder. Don't mess with her. Don't hog the machines. If she needs something, you need to get out of her way. So that's nice. But I've never been to a women's only gym. I grew up with men, like I said, I had 3 older brothers, no sisters. So I'm used to the guys. I'm used to how they talk, how they act, everything. And oddly enough, I have 3 sons and 1 daughter too. So, I'm kind of in a male, and I work in a male-dominated field. I'm an engineer. I have an engineering firm. So it's like my whole life, I've kind of.
So you're comfortable around being with men?
Yeah, I'm comfortable around that. So.
Yeah, it's interesting because, and this is 1980, but before that, there were, bodybuilding was getting to that peak and stuff, but there were women that I would say in the 1950s they were working out, and it's this, I think her name is Abigail Stockton or something like that. She's one of, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right, but she was like a pioneer of being a bodybuilder and stuff. She's like a strong woman, and so it's interesting.
Yeah, I remember, you know what? I remember my grandmother used to go to a gym. My grandparents went to a gym when I was younger. And I know it was like this big commercial gym. The women would go on one side and the men would go on the other. I don't know what the guys were doing, but you've seen those old reels on Instagram where the women are like on those things that shake their hips or rolling on their butts. That's the gym my grandmother went to. And then we go sit in the steam room, and we'd go get a facial or something like that. And it wasn't really any working out.
No.
Oh, we got a massage. It was all about machines that were supposed to jiggle your hips, roll the fat off your thighs and stuff like that. It was really funny. I remember that. So. Yeah.
So in other words, it was more serious with the guys than it was with the women.
Probably, because who knows what the guys were doing, because they didn't let you in there. You couldn't see them. So.
Yeah. What era would you pick? Would you pick this era, or would you pick back in the day?
I wish I'd really pursued more of the 80s. I think that was like the golden years of bodybuilding. That's when people, aren't in the late 70s and 80s. That's when Arnold broke in and all those guys. I think that was really a golden era. So I'd love, and the culture was great. One thing, when I was going to that little gym in the 80s, one thing, those guys really welcomed me. They helped me. The gym culture was vastly different than it is now. I mean, nobody was taking videos. Nobody was taking videos to upload their reels or to post on Instagram. So it was kind of nice not having any of that. There was no influencers. Nobody cared what you looked like. It was a very egalitarian, time. And it was very different. I kind of miss that. Everybody helped everybody. If you needed help on a machine, if you needed a spot, it was very different. No headphones back in the day. I kind of miss that. So.
Interesting. Yeah. I know, a while back, it'd be like sexual harassment issues and stuff, like in the gym. You know, you got to be careful of, but you know, like, yeah, I would hear, you know, stories about it, you know, and you know, yeah, it's stories, you know, about sex, like some of the women they record guys and stuff looking at them, or it's slow craziness. So I don't know.
Yeah, and actually, I had somebody record me one time, and this was a long time ago. They were making fun of me and put it up, and it went viral. In
Yeah.
fact, it was when I was getting in. It was when I was getting into shape. I can't remember what site it some Facebook site it went up on. Oddly enough, my daughter was in college, and she called me up and she's like, "I think I just saw a video of you at the gym." I said, "Yeah, I saw it." She says, "You know, it's gone viral." And it was picked up by, like, some British newspaper actually did a whole, like, article on it. Older lady, out of shape, just trying to get into shape, and this guy's videoing her and posting it. And I was just like, you know what? I don't care. I'm on my journey, and that guy's just an asshole. So it happened to me, and I had a choice. You know, I had more people reach out to me, being supportive, that recognized me. And the more people, I mean, and just, you know, on Facebook, because I wasn't doing Instagram back then, reached, you know, anonymously, found out who I was, reached out to me, supported me. And I was like, well, that's great. You know, you're always going to have jerks in the world. So
Did
you
they
can
ever
either...
took it down? Did they ever took the video down?
Yeah.
Okay.
It got taken down.
Let me see. Mom, Kathy, you so pretty. Don't go to the gym, please. I don't know. Give us some time. I'm gonna showcase a picture. Showcase a video slide again. So. Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me? Oh, there we
Yeah,
are.
I
Had a
can
call
hear you.
come in.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So
Yeah. Oh, now go ahead. I thought you had more to say about the guy that recorded you, but
yeah,
yeah.
I think that guy got pretty well. I think it turned out better for me than it did for that guy. That guy was really, he was harassed for filming somebody. You know, I could have been his mom. Really, he was a young guy.
But what made him want to do that? Like, did you, like, what gave him a reason to do it? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, it don't make sense. He just out the blue just recording you.
You know what? I think it was one of those. I was doing some sort of squats, and the angle he got me at was very unflattering. And again, I was 100 pounds overweight. I was just starting my journey. So it was like, you know, he was making fun of me. So
I got you.
I think it was just at the beginning of, you know, people videoing people without their knowledge and making fun of them for a viral moment. We were just at that beginning. That's not something I would ever do. I would never make fun of. When I see people struggling in the gym, you know, especially if they're a woman, if they're close to my age, even if they're a younger woman, I'm just like, hey, can I give you a pointer? Can I give you something like that? You know, I'm more about let's lift each other up, not tear each other down. You know, I did take it. I was working out at an LA Fitness. I don't work out there anymore. they couldn't identify the guy, which I thought was bullshit. So never saw him again. But now, I mean, you see some of those viral moments on social media. I think that's a lot less now. I guess you see those viral moments, and it's more, the viral moments now are more not of making fun of people, but just these influencers that have a particular stick or whatever, thing they do. So, I don't know. I guess he was trying to be provocative.
Yeah,
it didn't matter to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you went through that. I mean, there's nowadays, people getting pranked now.
Yeah.
If it's not in the gym, it's in the street.
Yep.
This is the neighbor that I had. He got pranked, and like one of the guys was asking him for a gun, and he just flipped on him. Yeah, so they either like they'll go to the store and they'll get something like a drink or something, and they open the cap, the bottle cap, and they drink it, and then they'll ask the guy how much is it, and they start saying that they don't like it and they want their money back or something like that.
Yeah.
But they're just to give people a hard time. So yeah. So
yeah.
So you got all of age George Page. How you doing, George? Was there besides Corey Everson, like were there like other like people that influenced you, like women bodybuilders?
So of course I was always an Arnold fan, and so Gladys Portuguese, who was married to Jean-Claude Van Damme. She was another bodybuilder that I followed. She still looks great. I follow her on Instagram and Facebook. She still looks fabulous. Still has a great body. So does Corey. So that's kind of my age group. I follow all the pros. I've been to the Olympia. I haven't been to the Arnold. The Olympia was a phenomenal thing to go to. I admire all the women that are competing now and all the Olympians. I've known a few. So every year I'm just amazed at the muscularity, the physicality of all the women that are competing. I love to see how everything changes, how the looks every year, from year to year. Angela Teixeira, she was an Olympian bikini bodybuilder several years ago. She's from Texas. She lives in Austin. I guess she was in the, I guess her last show was probably 5 or 6 years ago. She kind of stepped away from the stage. She started having kids. Such a sweet person. Trained with her a couple of times. Her, and she's had a few kids. She recently came back to competing again. She's trying to, get back to the Olympia stage. I can't remember if she's done it. But just watching how resilient women are. I mean, to go from a bikini body to actually birthing kids, that's a lot. I mean, men never go through that. You think about the changes in a woman's body, everything you go through. I mean, I think Angela, gained like 50 pounds with each of her. To put on 50 pounds, and you're not putting on 50 pounds of muscle. You're putting on, you're growing another human. You're putting on a lot of body fat to support that human. You're getting stretch marks. You take a long time to recover, and then to get back into stage shape. That's a lot. No man can do that. So, and I've seen a lot of men, that have gone, that competed in bodybuilding, then they let themselves go and then they come back. But, I think women far surpass the men in terms of being able to go through those changes in life, from totally out of shape to getting back into shape to getting your body to bounce back. So, I think sometimes us women don't get enough credit for that, being competitors before and after kids, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, it's always been frowned upon for some reason, just you can have like a magazine of a woman, you're looking at a woman bodybuilder and stuff, and people give you that frown face.
Yeah.
I've experienced that a bit, men and women, that's the thing. Both, for some reason, both sex kind of, I don't know, they have like that upside down smile. I call it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it is. I mean, like, even women bodybuilding, that's like, I would say, the foundation of it. And people, I mean, there's shows that don't have women's bodybuilding, they have fit model. That's a new, that to me, that's like a people frown upon that.
Yeah, I know. Well, when I got into bikini bodybuilding, we looked like fit models. So
Right.
that, and every year it became more muscular and more muscular. So I was like, when they came out with fit model, I was like, why don't just redefine the class? Why don't you just take it back to, let's call it old school bikini bodybuilding, because that's what it looked like, in the mid 2000s. But everything's going to change. It's going to be interesting to see how things continue to evolve. And I'm wondering how that fit model is going to evolve, whether it's going to become more muscular and look more bikini-like, and how bikini is going to push the envelope of looking even more muscular. I don't think it's ever going to go to, it's like when they came out with the what's the ones with the big thighs? What is it? I can't remember. Wellness, yeah. Wellness, yeah. So that was kind of a godsend for some of the women, because there was a lot of women competing in bikini that they genetically just had bigger thighs and glutes, and when they came out with that, there were so many of them that were like, oh, thank God, now I can compete, because they could never compete, they didn't have the smaller legs that bikini requires, right? So I think things will continue to evolve. I mean, look at the differences in men's bodybuilding. The men that 20 years ago, it looked vastly different from how they look now. So you still have the basics, of how they look, depending on whether you're a classic bodybuilder or heavyweight or whatever. But I think it's going to continue to evolve, because people are going to find aesthetics change, taste change. I mean, back in the day, your glutes weren't nearly as important as they are now, but so it was more balanced. And I think it's getting back there, because we had a time where, the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, glutes kind of took over everything. Now you're seeing it kind of, okay, it's not all about the glutes. Glutes are important, but it's more about a balanced look. So anyway.
Yeah. We got all the way. She says Gladys is beautiful, and then he says men can't birth no babies. We can't handle how the baby is going to come out. So And then he says, no, hold on. He talks about fit model. Fit model is just lightweight bodybuilding. Bikini is looking like figure when it first started.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah. Let me see what he says from Arnold to Samson. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been to some shows where they had fit model. Not too long ago, I was watching a live stream on the universe, the MPC universe, and I went there last year, and I seen like the fit model. Matter of fact, I went to the New York Pro this year, and I seen like the fit model competitors, and it was taking pictures of some of them and stuff. I mean, they don't look too bad in my opinion, but for some reason, it's not. I think because people just kind of don't. They look at it. It doesn't make sense. So
It doesn't make sense to me. It's very, the level of muscularity. Some of them, some of the smaller shows I've seen, it's just like, okay, I don't see any muscle. I see a skinny girl. I don't see it. So I know it's different if it's a national qualifier or like, universe. That's probably different. But at some of the smaller regional shows, I'm just like, these are not bodybuilders. These are girls that woke up one day and said, I'm going to go be a fit model. And I may be discounting some competitors, but that's my opinion. And I don't think I was just kind of surprised. I think NPC, IFBB did it to bring more people into the fold and to make more money, to be more inclusive. And I don't know that bodybuilding is an inclusive sport. It's like anything else. I mean, you can't wake up one morning and go, think I'm going to be a professional football player. You got to pay your dues. You got to do the workouts. And you have to have some talent. I mean, granted, I'm never going to be able to wake up and say, I'm going to go do the Olympia. Well, I could do the Olympia. I wouldn't place in the Olympia. I mean, Olympia and Arnold both have amateur, right? But I would never do that because I want to go to a show that I'm competitive at. So I just, you can do whatever you want. Just don't be disappointed when you don't make, a place. You don't get a placement. So that's my opinion.
Wasn't you tempted to go to fit model a bit? I don't know.
What?
Wasn't you like tempted? You said you was gonna do fit model at one point.
Yeah, I decided that I wanted to do an NPC show because I could compete. NPC does a lot of their shows. They'll have 55 and even 60 classes. So I was looking into doing that. And then my question was to the coach that I was talking to, I said, am I fit model or am I bikini? And they said, there's no way you're fit model. You have way too much muscularity. I mean, like my last DEXA scan, coming into my last show, I was 12% fat. So, I was 88%, muscularity. I mean, so I go into shows, from anywhere from 12 to 13. So, and that's not what fit models are doing. I had way more muscularity than even when I first began. I've always been kind of a muscle builder. So depending on, so I don't think I would have ever fit into fit model. No. I didn't know what the standard was, and I needed somebody that had the expertise to tell me. So that was shot down immediately. And now I think I have the muscularity to compete in an NPC bikini. So
So he says you could do figure and bikini as an amateur. Well, she's planning to
Yep.
do figure.
Yeah,
And she.
I'm gonna do. I may. I'm considering competing in figure also in November, because you can sign up for more than one class. So I was kind of on the after the feedback I got from my last show, it was suggested that I may want to go do figure as well as bikini. So I'm trying to decide. I need to go register for that show. So
And so you competing in another somewhere in Mexico?
yeah, Playa del Carmen, Mexico.
Okay, all right, and
It's always
you're
a
gonna
fun
be
show.
okay, all right, okay, yeah. It says sound like you're planning for the Masters USA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I wish you good luck. I mean, do you feel
Thank you.
nervous on the upcoming show?
So, I'm sorry, what?
Do you feel nervous for this upcoming show, or like?
No, I feel good.
No?
I feel like, building off my last show, every show, I've only had one or two shows that I didn't feel good about. I get nervous coming up to a show where I don't feel like I made the gains that I wanted to. I had a show December 2025. I didn't come in like I just, for whatever reason, I didn't lean down like I thought I was going to lean down. So I didn't come in as lean as I wanted to. I was very nervous in that show. I probably should have stepped back and not done that show and waited for another show, given myself another 6 weeks. But I'm just like, oh, what the heck? This last show felt really good about. I know I'm going to feel good about that show. I'm just building on what I did this year. So I feel like I'm going to do well. But you never know, because you never know who the judges are, and you never know who's going to show up. Because, as well as you can plan and bring your best package, you're competing against a lot of people that you don't know who you're competing against till you get to the show. So who knows what it's going to be like. But I know I'm going to do better than the last show. And that's all that's the only thing I can control, what I do, right?
Right. My thing is, what like on Bikini, like they have all these competitors and they look nice, but how do you differentiate, each competitor, especially with their look?
You know what? I think for each, you have your compulsory, you have your standard, and within that standard, then it comes down to presentation. How does each person, because, there's always going to be a handful of competitors that fit that standard to a T. They have done all the work. They have exactly what the judges are looking for. They have the nice shoulder caps. They have the thin torso, toned arms, full glutes, slim legs. So they have that. And there's, and so you have a handful of, competitors that look like that. Other than that, it comes down to posing, how are you presenting yourself? Are you presenting yourself? And because inherently, everybody, the girls that don't feel comfortable on stage and don't present themselves in a manner that you have to attract the judge's attention, and the girls that really are up there, they feel comfortable, they feel good in their body, they feel good about what they're presenting, they put their best foot forward, literally, and show the hard work that they've done. I mean, those are the girls that stand out. And the more time you get on stage, the more comfortable you feel like. I remember The first time I got on stage, I was so lost, even though I'd practiced a million times, had my posing down. Then when I get up in front of the lights, I'm like, oh my God, I don't remember anything. So every time you get on stage, it's like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I did wrong last time. I'm going to do it better this time. And that's what, that's what I do now. Even though, I practice posing a couple of times a week just to know. I video myself. I look at myself. I look at how could I do this better? How could I present my body parts better? What looks better, this pose or this pose? My coach and I critique it. Right now, even though I'm not leading up into my I'm still on my build. We meet every couple of weeks. We practice some new poses. We try to figure out how to present my body best. And those are the things that make you a winner. That practice, doing the boring things over and over again. That's what brings that's what makes you stand out from the next person. So, and that's what I see with all the people that really, the ones that really do well, whether, the pros, they're doing the same thing. They're looking at their body. They're being very critical. They're trying to figure out how to present their best packages. They're constantly practicing. They're bettering themselves. They're not necessarily looking at the other guy. They're looking at, how do I bring out the best in my body to present it? So it's really, you're going against yourself each time as much as you're going against everybody else, right?
Yeah. Do you have like a show, like out of the 10-year duration, the 10 shows that you competed in? Do you have like a show that you like, wow, I didn't do that bad, like that type of feeling?
Yeah. The first show I did, the first WBFF show I did, it was a small show. So I get there and I was 50, it's 3 years ago. I was 59, okay? I get there and I'd registered for 45 and up. I get there and they're like, so nobody else registered for 45 and up. I was like, okay. They're like, so you have to compete with the 40-year-olds. I was like, what? So I was competing with 45-year-olds. That was, I was just like, wait a minute. I was prepared to compete with 45-year-olds, but now I'm competing with women that, are even much younger. And in that show, I came in third. So that was probably my best show. So I was with 10 women that were anywhere from 40. I mean, there was nobody else that was in their 50s. So they were all in their 40s, most of them in their early 40s. I was coming in at 59 or 58, 59, I don't remember. I was in my 50s and I was like, okay, and one of the things that I think set me apart is my stage presence is different, because I used to be a dancer too. So I know what it takes to perform. I was a competitive dancer. So the dancing part, when I get up on stage, I'm like, I'm on. So I feel comfortable on stage. I know what it takes to set myself apart, and a lot of those girls that I was competing against, they had never been on stage before. So I'm like, I don't look like a 40-year-old, but I know how to present myself. So sometimes that dynamic changes everything.
What was your placement like at your first show?
Third place.
Third place. Oh, okay, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I was very happy with that. So
that was cool. Did you do better as it spiraled, as it went like further?
I'm sorry, what?
No, I said, did you do better in other shows eventually, like after that show?
Yeah, it kind of
Oh,
depends. So it's very funny, you know. So I guess the best I've ever done is I've never won first place. I've won second place.
okay.
I've done as bad as fifth place. It kind of depends on the size of the show.
Yeah.
Um, how many competitors there are, how young they are. So, um, last year at the show, I didn't think I was lean enough for over 20 competitors. I came in fifth place. So, this time I came in fourth place. I was kind of unsure why that happened. I'm still waiting for feedback from the judges on that. But, I'm not going to think about what I did. I'm going to think about the things I know I can improve. So looking at the video, I thought my posing was on point. It's just, I'd never done a show. I did the most recent one. I haven't done it. It was in Florida. Some of it's the judges, some of it's, you just never know. I feel good about Mexico. I think I'm going to do well. We'll see. We'll see at the end of, we'll see on November 7th how that I feel. Right now I'm feeling good. Yeah.
I got one more question for you, and I'll let you go. Have your kids, your grandkids ever been to see your show?
They've seen me in pictures, but they haven't really seen me do a show because my shows are never local. So I'm always on the road competing. I know that I have a 13-year-old granddaughter, and she said to me a few months ago, she said, "Oh, so all of my friends and we compared grandmas, so we all brought up their Instagrams, and you won." So she said, "I showed them all your bikini pictures and how you're a bodybuilder." And she said, "Yeah, all the girls, so all the I have a huge, following of 13-year-old girls right now." So
Ooh, that's cool. So in other words, the women bodybuilders, the female bodybuilders are the new sexy. That's what I'm understanding.
yeah, I think so. I think so.
I think let me read he made some sound like you're planning for Masters USA, and then he says the unknown is where we gain experience.
Right.
And then he says discipline, consistency, and genetics come to play in bodybuilding.
Yeah. So. I wouldn't say I have the genetics because I suffer from scoliosis. Do you know what that is?
I've heard of that.
I have a curve in my back. So I've had it since I was a kid. There was nothing they caught it too late. They couldn't fix it. So I'm like a 24% curve in my back. So inherently there's some poses I have to work really hard on to mitigate that look. So, and you can see it in some of my pictures, depending on the angle that the photographer gets. But if you're the judge looking at me straight on, you don't notice it. But if you hit me from one of the sides where you see it, it kind of bugs me. But, so I wish I had the genetics, but I don't have the genetics. But you know what? This is me. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to be able to compete in like an Olympia or Arnold, but that's okay. Maybe I'll get my pro card. Maybe I won't. I'm just going to keep going. So.
Yeah, I mean, I wish you the best on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you walked a long road just for fitness. And, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Yeah.
This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Well, you made it fun. You made it fun.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Take
All
care.
right. Okay.
Okay. Bye.